Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of KC Sports Tonight. I am Mark Poulose, joined by Katie Maher. Katie, today, actually, I was going to say it's cold, but I think it was like 28, 29 degrees, but it felt much warmer today than yesterday. Do you agree?
It's the first day in almost a week that I've been able to not wear gloves on my morning walk with my dog and just keep my hands in my pockets instead. So I appreciate that.
No, I think we're all excited here in Kansas City. When I went outside this morning, I was dressed for it to be about -5, feels like, and I walked outside. I was like, all right, not that bad.
20 degrees.
Yeah, I know. And ever since then, the
It's
vibes have been
summer.
high. Yeah. All right, let's not get too hasty here. But hey, we got 5 big topics to talk about today here on KC Sports Tonight. The first one has to do with maybe the most famous player in all of professional football. Yes, we are talking about Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce today. Chiefs chairman Clark Hunt was on Good Morning Football on the NFL Network, made his first comments about Travis since the Chiefs offseason officially began. Basically, Clark was saying that he still thinks Travis is a very, very good football player. He thinks he can play at a high level in the NFL and that the Chiefs want to have him back. Katie, I feel like in the last month or so, we've really kind of done a 180 on Travis Kelce. Prior to Mahomes' injury, we thought maybe it was his last year, and ever since then, we've thought he's coming back. What's your reaction to today's news?
You're right. We've done a 180. I was so 100% for the past 2 years, ever since he restructured his contract 2 years ago, and didn't change the amount of time that was left on the contract. I was like, that's probably gonna be it. And then when him and Taylor Swift get engaged and their wedding's gonna be this summer, I'm like, he's just gonna retire from the NFL and just maybe take a pause and enjoy married life for a few months and then be a movie star and I don't know, maybe broadcast and media and things like that. And it wasn't even the Mahomes injury that made me do a 180 about it. It was the way that the last game of the season, and I get that it wasn't at home, and it was in Vegas, but it didn't feel special. You know what I mean? He didn't feel sentimental, and he was a little sentimental at Arrowhead, I think, because he was still unsure what he was going to do, and you have to be a little sentimental if you're not sure if this is going to be your last time at Arrowhead Stadium. But then his comments, the way he's talked about having EB back in the building and all that stuff, now I'm okay. And he's saying that if he feels good, he's going to play. I think he still feels good. He had one of the best seasons of any tight end in the NFL this year, and he's 36. So I think he might be giving it one more go.
I think he might. I mean, I think he's going to give it maybe one more go, but if it keeps going like it did last season, I don't know why he would stop. I mean, Katie, you were there at the end of the year. We were out there at some practices. We were out there at some games. And, to me, just as you said, in no way, shape, or form at the end there did it feel like a farewell tour. You obviously, there was that kind of question hanging there in the air. You could feel the emotion. You could feel that kind of sentiment around, is this it? But, when you looked at Travis, when you looked at what he said, when you watched the way he moved, you were like, that's not a guy that's over. That's not a guy that's in this facility for the last time. And then when you hear, especially, I love what you said, those comments, I'm so excited to see EB back in the building, can't wait for that. I think that's Travis not saying that he's coming back, but that's a guy that's looking forward to coming back. But Katie, I love to have you on when we talk about Travis because obviously you are a Swiftie, you're deep into that world today. Clark Hunt, he talked about how Travis is going to have a very busy offseason with the wedding and all that. Are there any new developments on that front that maybe people should know? Because I don't follow any of that, but it sounds like that's a big factor of this story.
The rumor is that the date is going to be June 13th. It's got to be on the 13th somehow because that's Taylor's lucky number, of course, and 13 plus 87 equals 100 numerology. That's the rumor. Obviously, I'm not invited, so I don't know for sure. But
we got to get you on that guest list.
We got to get me on the guest
strings.
list.
Yeah.
I'm connected on both sides. But I mean, let's be real. I don't think Travis is doing too much to plan it himself. I'm sure they have the best wedding planner in the entire world planning this wedding, probably. But it's still a lot to prepare for anybody. But yeah, they're kind of quiet right now. I'm not gonna lie. In the pop culture world, even just the other day, someone asked me, what do you think Taylor? Because the area that they live in, I was driving by it, and someone was like, what do you think they're doing right now? And I was like, they're probably just in their mansion baking sourdough. Like,
Or
that's probably just what they're
Pop-Tarts.
doing. Or Pop-Tarts, because everyone loves their Pop-Tarts, you know?
Well, I got another question for you here on the Swiftie front. Obviously, I know that the big number in the Swiftie lore is the number 13. Travis has now played 13 NFL seasons. Like, are the Swifties up in arms that Travis could potentially come back for 14?
I think they want him to because they love seeing Taylor out at the games. Like, they call her Wagler is what the official, like, because Wag, Taylor, mix the names, Wagler. They love seeing her game day outfits and her interacting in the suite and stuff. And obviously we saw a lot less of that this year. The Swifties like to see it, so while it would be beautiful in the Swiftie world of numerology if he stopped at 13 years, I don't think they would mind it in the slightest bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think he's going to probably extend this, ride this out as long as he can. Because, like, when we do get back to the football side of this, obviously we know the personal life is a big factor in this decision as well for Travis, because so much about this is just kind of setting yourself up for the rest of your life. But, I mean, the guy's a competitor, and he's still competing. He's still playing at the highest level. And I think if you just internally kind of got in between his ears, try to figure out what he was thinking, he's like, look at the guy across from me, like on the defense, like, I can still beat him, so why would I stop? And I think a lot of Chiefs fans are, especially with this offseason, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be there, or he's going to be around, but he's not going to be able to throw the football due to his injury. The Chiefs are going to need to have some leaders on the football field, and Travis Kelce, a guy that's certainly been there, done that, commands that respect, works very, very hard. I mean, Katie, how many times have we seen it at training camp? Like, Travis is out there absolutely busting his tail off, and this is a guy that's going to wear a gold jacket one day. So that's kind of a tone setter for the organization, and I think it sounds like today the Chiefs want him back. It sounds like Travis maybe is hinting at a comeback, so hopefully they can agree on a good number, and we'll see what he comes back at. Katie, what do you think? Anything else there?
No, just that we've done a 180, and I think I'm convinced now.
Yep, sounds like he's coming back, but we will wait and see. All right, guys, but that's not the only big news today in the Kansas City sports world. Also today, the Kansas City Royals, we got a little bit of stadium news out of them. We're trying to figure out where they are going to end up as they pursue a new stadium. The Royals have made it very, very clear that they are not staying at Kauffman Stadium when their lease expires in 2031. Also, kind of a fun thing, not related to the stadium. Katie, guess when Bobby Witt Jr.'s opt-out date is in his contract?
When?
2031. All right, but nothing else about that. All right, we're also going to. The Royals,
now,
though, had purchased a site, or had been looking into a site at 119th and Knoll, or around there, for a potential stadium site. Today, the Royals said they're not really looking into that idea anymore. Katie, for me, this always seemed like a very long shot of a site. I mean, I grew up in the Johnson County area. I live now in the Northland. I guess what I'm saying, I don't think anyone that lived in the area around there wanted the stadium there, and I don't think anyone in any other part of Kansas City wanted the Royals to move to that location. What do you kind of make of the Royals saying that OP location, not for us?
I can speak firsthand. Nobody wanted the Royals to move there. Like, every time I drive past that area, I think to myself, like, they want to put a baseball stadium here. In this residential area, and I'm like, this would be a terrible idea. So I'm relieved to hear that, because I just think it wouldn't have been good. It's too residential. I mean, what do you got there? Like, you got the Top Golf.
There's like the Dick's Sporting Goods that used to be the Galleons Town Center.
Yeah, it's like a whole shopping center that, like, what you're gonna also then build a bar area around it, but then, like, it just feels like way too much in one area where people directly live right behind it. Too much traffic. And then when you go up Knoll, like, after like 10 streets up from that, I should say, it's one lane on each way. Like, the traffic would be a nightmare. And I'm like, so I'm glad that they have scrapped that idea. But I mean, I think now fans are getting more and more excited about, okay, we're this much closer to a downtown ballpark. Or are they going to go on the Kansas side and kind of follow suit with the Chiefs? It just feels like this never-ending saga, you know?
Yeah,
we just want to see an end to it.
There certainly is some momentum, obviously, now for a downtown side. I think after the Chiefs moved over, or announced their intentions to move over to the state of Kansas, I think Missouri and Kansas City and Jackson County and Clay County all said, hey, guys, like, there's no way that we can let both of them go over there. And I think, I mean, obviously this is not confirmed, but just from kind of chatter that I've heard, I know that there are people on the Missouri side of the state line that they don't think that Kansas could afford 2 of these stadium projects. I mean, the state of Kansas, I mean, they're going to have to fork up a lot of money to pay for. I mean, I know, I understand it with the Star bonds, but the Star Bonds have never financed a project as big as what the Chiefs are trying to undertake there in the state of Kansas. And I really don't know if the state of Kansas would be able to financially take on two projects like this and finance them in such a unique way. But
you should go be a financial advisor for the state of Kansas.
No, they definitely don't want that for me. I think they have some good guys. I think the state of Kansas has been doing a pretty good job of attracting business in their side of the and all that to the state line. But the Royals, if they had picked that Overland Park site, I mean, that could not have been a more tone-deaf decision because just as we said, I don't think anyone wanted the Royals to move there, and the Royals aren't. So, all right, there we go. Katie, anything else on that one? Are we good?
No, thank God.
All right, hey guys, the Royals also today, pitchers and catchers are reporting pretty soon next month, and baseball is going to be here right before we know it. Actually, 2 months from today, the Royals are set to open the season on March the 27th at the Atlanta Braves. So how about that? And probably about 60 days, actually less because February is 28 days. Yeah. We're going to have baseball to look at here in Kansas City. So how about that? All right, guys.
Opening day.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on in the world of baseball. We can see Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and all them boys. All right, but staying here locally again, the University of Missouri Tigers have an interesting basketball game tonight. They are going on the road to take on number 23 Alabama. Now, Alabama, there is one player on their team who is at the center of a big-time NCAA controversy. His name's Charles Bediako. He used to play at Alabama from 2021 to 2023, and then after that, he decided to pursue a pro career and entered his name into the NBA draft, and he went, unfortunately for him, he went undrafted, and then he signed in the G League, and he played for basically 2.5 seasons for 3 different teams in the G League, and then I'm not quite sure how it happened, but he wanted to, I guess, play college basketball again, and he got a temporary restraining order in the state of Alabama that allows him to play basketball for the Crimson Tide. He returned last week against, I believe, Tennessee. He had 12 points or something like that, and he's going to suit up tonight against the Missouri Tigers. Katie, I think in the world of college sports, everyone's kind of trying to wrap their heads around the fact that some star players get millions of dollars, that's no longer really amateur athletics, but now a former professional athlete is playing NCAA basketball. Is this kind of the end of the NCAA as we know it? Is the NCAA, is it over?
This whole situation boggles my mind because, first of all, that judge that granted the temporary restraining order, 2 now he's granted against the NCAA, has to be a huge Alabama basketball fan. That judge has to want this guy to play.
I think there was a report from Alabama.com that the NCAA did ask the judge to recuse himself because I cannot confirm this, and this is not the opinion of KCTV5, but I do believe there is a report out there that said the judge that issued the TRO is an Alabama donor. No, and then Katie, we were talking about this in the sports office to maybe more localize the story. There's a girl. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about this? There's a girl that plays for K-State, Tess Heel. What's her situation?
Here's why this boggles my mind. And granted, I will give the NCAA this. They're trying to get this guy to not play basketball on Alabama. They're trying to stop him from playing college basketball. I'll give them that. Boggles my mind that so basically what they've done with this girl Tess Heel at K-State women's basketball, she is, like, if not their best player, their second best player. She's from Australia. This is her final year of eligibility. Timing was probably a little bad on her part. She signed a contract to play for a professional team in Australia that would not start. Their season doesn't start until after the college season is over, I believe in late March, early April. So she would not be a college basketball player anymore at that point. She signed the contract in the middle of this season. The NCAA found out, and they have benched her. She did not play in the Sunflower Showdown. K-State very noticeably missed her on the court because they lost that game by over 20. And she averages 10 points a game for them. It boggles my mind that the NCAA is choosing this hill to die on and not trying to do more to stop something that's way more serious. This isn't a pro player who's come back to play college basketball. This is just a girl who set up her future. I'm not going to say that that maybe the timing was bad. The timing was probably bad on her signing it when she did, but maybe it's just what she had to do. K-State has declined to give more comment other than Jeff Mittie said after the Sunflower Showdown on Sunday, she messed up the timing of it. Is kind of what he said. So they're acknowledging that. They're working on getting her reinstated. But I'm going to say it again for the millionth time. It boggles my mind that they're choosing this hill to die on and they're taking it to this level of extremities when there are multiple G League players playing on the men's side right now, and they're not finding a way to stop them. So, yeah. A little double standard there.
Yeah, and I think the NCAA really finds themselves in a precarious position right now because I think we're learning more and more that they are not really the true power brokers in college sports. I mean, look at the college football playoff. Like when they present that trophy, they say on behalf of the conference commissioners and the college football playoff committee, like, here's the trophy. It has absolutely nothing to do with the NCAA. Or I'm like, I mean, the NCAA has died on this hill where they don't want these players to be employees of the institutions. They want them to be paid through name, image, and likeness. Like it's just we're learning that the NCAA really is not going to have a lot of power in these situations. I think it's ultimately going to come down to the conferences because it is a messy situation. But there's a former pro playing tonight against the University of Missouri in college basketball, and it's hard to get our minds around, but it is what it is.
It's also just the fact that, like, I think everybody is just very much aware of, like, everyone just kind of thinks the NCAA is evil now. because
an institution that for hundreds of years had free labor, like, people want to be on that side? I can't believe that.
How, like, they were so anti-NIL that it has just, and I think for the most part, honestly, like, it's rev share and that type of stuff that turns people off from the current day of college athletics that people have problems with, you know. I don't think it's NIL, like the original vision of NIL, where, like, players can maybe have an agent and they go to the local car dealership and the car dealership is going to pay them $10,000 to do a commercial and whatever else, or the local Wendy's, or, like, all that type of stuff. Like, that was the original vision, I think, of NIL that most people, I don't think, have a problem with, because, like, I mean, I can't imagine when I was in college, like, if I wasn't allowed to have a job and, like, make money, like, how was I going to pay, like, do stuff? And I know when you think of this, you're like, oh, well, the football players, they get all the free food and they get all the free clothes, and when they go to bars, they don't pay for their tabs. What about, like, the softball players? What about, like, the volleyball players? What about the smaller sports like that? Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. But yeah, like, it's I understand there's these extremities that it's gone to, but, like, because the NCAA was so anti even the thought of players being able to make any type of money that's just going in their pockets, everybody just hates the NCAA now.
Yeah, I think the NCAA backed themselves into a corner just because they were trying to maintain the status quo that they had for so many years, and now they've kind of, like, woven this web of problems that they can't get out of, and it's just a huge problem, and really no one is benefiting, not the players, not the athletes, not the coaches, not the institutions, not the fans. Everyone is losing, so hopefully there can be some resolution to this. But again, we don't want to the U.S. government is not going to restrict any athlete's ability to make money or any of these things. So it's a mess of a situation. We'll see what happens. Big thing to know, Missouri is playing tonight against a former pro against Alabama. We'll have a recap of that tonight at 10. But looking back to the positives of sports, there's a local 5-star basketball recruit from right here in the Metro. Katie, this was your story today. Please tell us a little bit about this Olathe South 5-star player.
Yes, tonight at 10 o'clock you're going to see her full story. Saw a little version at 5 if you were watching KCTV News live at 5. Her name is Eve Long. She plays at Olathe South. She's a junior, so keep all this in mind. She's not even a senior yet. She's already narrowed down her top 5 offers, schools that she's looking at, and those schools consist of UConn, Yowza to begin with, Notre Dame, UCLA, Duke, and she's keeping her hometown school in there, KU. She actually just took her official visit this past weekend, and I asked her how that went today, and she was so, like, happy and giddy about it. And one thing that really stuck out to me was when she was talking about her OV at KU. She was like, obviously, like, it's my hometown school, and, you know, people who have watched me play as I've grown up would get to watch me there, et cetera, et cetera. But she said that the coaching staff took an interest in her way before any of these other programs did. And granted, it's probably because she's in their backyard, all that stuff. But, I mean, I think that's a big reflection on the recruiting job that Brandon Schneider does as head coach at KU. I mean, look at how many they have 5-stars in Samaya Nichols, Jalea Davis, a few others on the team, and Nichols and Davis are both from the KC Metro on the Kansas side. And Eve actually was telling me that she grew up playing against Jalea and playing with Jalea. So, yeah, cool little connection there. But I have to say, like, she was one of the most outgoing, sweet, nice, just pleasant to talk to, and, like, well-spoken, and one of the most mature seeming high school athletes that I've ever done an interview with. So shout out Eve Long and her family who has guided her, because clearly they did a great job. But yeah, it's super cool when we get to talk to high school athletes like that. And when they're among the best in the country. She's number 8 in the class of 2027 for women's basketball. So she's right here. And she dropped 44 points in a game a few weeks ago, breaking an Olathe South school record for both boys and girls. No one has ever scored more than that but her.
No, she's a big-time baller. And then we were talking about this in the sports office. Like, she's not the only local, really, like, 5-star elite talent that's here in the area. On Friday night, I went up to Park Hill South and saw a girl that you've done a story on before, Texas commit Addison Bajor, and I believe she's number 10 in the class of 2026, and then Eve is number 8, I believe, in the class of 2027. But then you talked about Jalea Davis. You talked about Samaya Nichols. I mean, these are all elite 5-star, top 20 recruits from right here in the Metro, and we're kind of wondering there's a question for you, Katie. I know you've covered girls sports, high school girls sports, and then women's sports in college and beyond for a couple years here now. Seeing this emergence of local talent here in the area, and then obviously with the recency of like Caitlin Clark at Indiana, do you is there maybe some correlation here between maybe Caitlin's success and the amount of attention and eyeballs that she got, and then maybe seeing some of the great local talent that we're seeing here come up through the ranks right now?
I think it just does a better job of shining a light on it, and I think the same thing is going to continue to happen with other girls and women's sports. Like when I was in Topeka, I covered Nyjah Kennedy, who is the best college pitcher in the nation in women's softball at Texas Tech.
Where'd you go to high school in Topeka?
Topeka High. Our sports director Marlia covered her when she was at our old station, and then I covered her whole way through college. Did a bunch of interviews with her, and like she's a player that I'm like, younger girls get to see players like this, and that's who they look up to, and that's what they realize as these lights get brighter and the stages get bigger and more eyes are on them. These girls get more excited, and I think it makes them want to play harder, you know? And that was something really cool that Eve said to me today, actually. She told me she wants to be a girl that young girls look up to and say, I want to be like Eve, because that's how she felt about the players that she was looking at who went to these schools that are recruiting her now, like UConn and Notre Dame and UCLA, and local girls at KU as well. So yeah, it's obviously an awesome thing, what Caitlin Clark has done for women's basketball, and then the girls who look up to her and can picture themselves in her shoes. But it's something that's already been like, there's been talent all over the country. It's just, I think people care more about it now, which is cool. Should have happened a long time ago, but it's great that it's finally happening now.
Yeah, tons of great talent around here in the area. Hey, if you guys want to see a really good basketball player, maybe go out there to Olathe South. Mm-hmm. Go out to Park Hill South. When I saw Addison Bajor the other day, they're taking on Smithville. I mean, it was incredible.
Girls are ballers.
She was an incredible talent, and it was like you could have seen her in the gym with 500 other people there, and she was an unbelievable athlete. So, hey, check out our local talent that we have. They're very, very good, and support all of them, boys, girls, wherever they go. They're Kansas City kids, and we will always support them. All right, we have one more topic to talk about today. The NFL coaching carousel continues to run around the Rosie or whatever it is as the offseason goes on.
Around the Rosie?
Is it? Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But how about this, Katie? Baker University alum Mike McCarthy, a 2-time all-conference tight end for the Baker Wildcats, was introduced as the head football coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just their 4th head coach since 1969. Katie, I know you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, so you have had to see Mike McCarthy here for the last couple of years.
You're bringing him up when I'm on camera.
Yeah, what do you think about this? Because when they thought about who was going to be the next head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I figured it's probably going to be a guy who's going to be there for a long time, because they're known for, having long tenured head coaches. But that's Mike McCarthy's not the guy I pictured. What are your thoughts?
I didn't picture either. I think that replacing Mike Tomlin with Mike McCarthy is insane.
Yeah.
I know he has the connection with like being the former Packers head coach and Aaron Rodgers and all that, but I think I suffered
I will say,
through
though,
the years of Mike McCarthy and as a Cowboys fan.
It's hard for me to judge anyone that's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys because their owner is so meddlesome. Like, can you honestly give an accurate judging of their work because we don't know what's going on behind the scenes there. I think there was a time when Mike McCarthy was the head coach there a couple seasons ago. They're out of practice and Jerry Jones just decided to land his helicopter at the practice field and make a big scene. I'm like, that's not a commitment to winning. Like Clark Hunt would never get in a chopper and land it on the practice field at One Arrowhead Drive to make a show because he wants a team that's committed to winning a Super Bowl. Like when you go to the Dallas Cowboys, I mean,
he just wants headlines.
There are extracurriculars that go on there. Like, it's not all about football, and it's not all about winning. So can I accurately judge Mike McCarthy on what happened there with the Dallas Cowboys? I think the answer, honestly, truthfully, is no. Now, do I think he's probably the best head coaching candidate that the Pittsburgh Steelers could have ever hired? No, but I'm interested to see how this plays out because he is a Super Bowl champion. He has been the top guy at an NFL organization for a very long time, and I know people sometimes kind of snuff at that, but that stuff really does matter. It's not like you can just always hire like some 34-year-old hotshot and he's going to come in and have the respect of an NFL room and locker room. Like, that's the reality. Like when you hire a young guy, like oftentimes I feel like there's going to be players on the team, veterans on the team that are maybe going to try to undermine that person. But when you have a guy that has a track record, a guy that's been there a long time, a guy that was like on TV when a lot of these players are growing up, I think that does give you a little extra gravitas or whatever you want to call it in the room. So interested to see how that one plays out. But I think maybe a big move that has the eyes of Chiefs fans is the Buffalo Bills announced their new head coach today, and it's not an outside hire. They fired Sean McDermott, did a whole head coaching search, and then what did they do? They promoted their offensive coordinator, who has never been a head coach before. His name is Joe Brady. And I assume this got the blessing of quarterback Josh Allen because from what I was hearing, I wasn't in the interview rooms, but it sounds like Josh Allen was also conducting these interviews with the Buffalo Bills. Katie, Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, promoted to head coach. What are your thoughts?
Oh,
Big sigh.
It just left my brain. It's back. Okay. The Bills organization right now feels like, did you see what their owner said about Keon Coleman?
Oh, yeah. Threw him under the bus.
I'd request a trade yesterday.
Yeah.
I'd want to get out of there 3 days ago. Wild behavior. Can you imagine like how Kansas City would be reacting if like Clark Hunt said that about Xavier Worthy?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like,
no.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen.
That was out of line.
It's a soap opera. Like it's weird. Whatever, I don't know. Whatever's going on in Buffalo right now, I think they're causing their own problems. They're in this playoff rut that they've never been able to win a Super Bowl. They go to 4 straight. They lose them all. They keep going to all these divisional rounds and AFC championships, and they keep losing them. The playoff woes just keep continuing for the Buffalo Bills, and the problem is that they're not staffing their roster with enough talent. They have Josh Allen and James Cook, and that's really all I can say. Build around that.
I was just talking about how maybe it can be tough for like a young coach when they go into a new. Obviously, he's been there for a couple of years, but Joe Brady is 36 years old, and I he's going to be learning all these things as an NFL head coach for the very first time. And I know maybe people are going to look back at other coaches that had tremendous success, like Sean McVay when he was really young and obviously won a Super Bowl. But I would caution you guys, like Sean McVay is the exception and not the rule. Like everyone's going to try to find like their next young hotshot quarterback.
Have you ever seen the movie He's Just Not That Into You?
I have not.
It's a direct quote from it.
What is it?
The whole like lesson of the movie is like this good. It's like a rom-com, and the girl's like, "What's wrong with me? Why can't I get guys to like me and whatever else?" And this guy is telling her like, "You're the rule, not the exception." But everyone has that's the lesson. You're always supposed to believe I'm the rule, not the exception.
All right, and so I think that's the note that we're going to leave this one on. The Buffalo Bills are learning that maybe they're not the exception, they are the rule. So, hey, the Buffalo Bills, they're going to try to get to the Super Bowl. Maybe they will win it one day, but we'll see what happens. Joe Brady now in charge of that operation. We'll see if he can get them back up to that level. But Katie,
see if they can beat the Chiefs.
We'll see. Hey, they lost to the Denver Broncos this year, so they can't blame the Chiefs. I guess they could blame the officials, but we'll see what happens.
They could blame the AFC West champions.
They could.
That's the funniest part. Like, the Bills just lose to the AFC West champions every year.
Yeah, the gift that keeps on giving. How about that? Champions are born out here in the AFC West. They couldn't survive in these streets, but that's what it is. All right, guys, that's a look at KC Sports Tonight here on this Tuesday. Be sure to tune in tonight at 10 p.m. for Katie's story on the Olathe South 5-star. And then also tonight at 6, we're going to hear from Chiefs Chairman Clark Hunt, what he said about Travis Kelce. We will see you then. Until then, take care.